The Atlantic hurricane season, which ended on Wednesday, November 30th, proved to be the sixth costliest on record. This season produced 14 named storms, 8 hurricanes with 2 being major. An estimated US $53.52 billion in damage was recorded across the Caribbean, Central America, and the United States. More than 300 deaths also were caused by the systems this season. Thankfully, Grenada was spared for yet another year as the island did not experience any hurricanes. Head Meteorological Officer Tricia Miller at the Morris Bishop International Airport noted the islands skirting any major storms. However, there was significant flooding associated with some weather systems.
Pre-season focus coming out of the Colorado State University as well as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration both called for an above average Atlantic hurricane season, and that would have been the 7th consecutive above average forecast. However, the season really panned out as near average with 14 named storms, which is the average, of which 8 were hurricanes and 2 were major hurricanes. The major hurricanes were Hurricane Fiona and Hurricane Ian, which was the strongest hurricane of the season. For us here locally, although we did not have an active season per se in that no storms made landfall here, we did have a number of flood events as a result of tropical waves, which is common in the wet season / hurricane season. So most of the events, if not all, were as a result of tropical waves.
According to the National Hurricane Center, most Atlantic activity usually occurs around mid-August to mid-October. However, this year, there were no named storms between July 3rd and August 31st. This is the first time this has occurred since 1941. Miller spoke of another odd occurrence during the month of September.
Morris Bishop International Airport, where our station is located, all the months of the season were above average rainfall, except for September, which was unusual. We had our 6th dry September on record, in fact, this year, which is very unusual for September. The peak of the hurricane season and the wet season is really like mid-August to mid-October. And so you would find that there was a lull during that period. In fact, the experts were trying to figure out what really caused it, because it is a La Nina year, as you mentioned, and for us in this region, La Nina is what would give us more rainfall. It tilts the odd towards more rainfall and more hurricane activities for our region. So you are correct. And so for us, that's why it was not unusual to have those tropical waves coming across and the intense rainfall activity that we saw, because the ongoing La Nina would cause that for us.
The 2022 Atlantic hurricane season also featured the highest number of hurricanes to be recorded in November. There were 3 systems last month. 2001 was the last time that occurred. Reporting for GBN News, Beverly Telesford.